Am I the asshole for not clearing the air between my teenage daughter and her boyfriend? I, 44 female, have an 18-year-old daughter. I raised her with cheating being the worst thing to do to a person. My daughter is usually well behaved and agreed that infidelity was bad. My daughter has never been the type to be in a relationship until a few months back. She told me that she was in a long-distance relationship with a boy she knew for about 3 years now. I do not have a problem with her boyfriend. I've talked to him here and there, he is nice and respectful, and whenever she talks about him, it's always in a good light. In the second month, she gave him my phone number in case of emergencies. Her contact for him is love of my life. She is very open about these things to me. The problem arose when one day she received a text from a different messaging platform, which was Discord. She asked me who it was from and to read it to her since she was baking. It was from a weird name that wasn't her boyfriend's name being affectionate with her. My stomach dropped and I opened the phone and there was affectionate texts back from her side. I put down the phone and excused myself. I felt so angry with myself, and in the moment, messaged her boyfriend, warning him that my own daughter may be cheating on him. Shortly after, my daughter came rushing to me angry and sobbing, saying her boyfriend had broken up with her because of something I had said. I told her what I found and what I did, and scolded her that I taught her better. She then took a deep breath and explained the name I saw was her boyfriend's username and that he would text her via Discord if he was playing games on his computer. Here is where I may be the asshole. My daughter begged me to clear the misunderstanding because her boyfriend had blocked her on everything. I refused, telling her that if she wasn't cheating, he wouldn't go to such lengths, and that this all could still be a lie. If this was the case, why didn't she just have him under the same contact as his number? My daughter has been crying in her room, claiming that she really did love him, and now I'm wondering if I did the wrong thing by not clearing the air. I just think because this is the first relationship, she can reflect on this and better herself later. Am I the asshole? Now in the comments, you're probably the biggest asshole and worst mother to exist, in all honesty. Sorry not sorry, you're the asshole. You were also an asshole before you said, this is where I may be the asshole. You're the asshole. You should keep your nose out of situations that don't call for it. Also, you clear the air because you made an ass out of yourself and your daughter looks terrible now on account of your ignorance. Nobody on Discord has their actual name as their username, by the way. Why wouldn't you have asked her who that was? Do you have so little trust in your daughter doing the right thing that your mind automatically went to cheating? Shame on you for breaking up a happy couple. That was her first love, and you just trounced on everything due to paranoia. You'll be lucky if this doesn't permanently affect your relationship with your daughter. Make things right. And a friend of OP's actually weighs in and says, you're the asshole. Even using a throwaway account, I had to make a new account so you didn't find my main account. If you don't know me, I'm your daughter's best friend, and I know for a fact this is you because your own daughter was completely in shambles. I have known both of them for a while, and yeah, your daughter was never the type for relationships because of you. You put it in her head that the world was going to cheat her out of happiness. She would never cheat on him, and FYI, he is completely destroyed. I'm going to give you a day to fix this yourself so you can repair whatever relationship you have with your daughter before I clear the air for them. They are the two nicest people I've ever met. Because they were only dating for a few months? Wrong. They've known each other for a little more than 3 years. This guy is completely in love with your daughter and would do anything to keep her happy. Your daughter would do the exact same thing. They have loved each other more than months, and you completely demolished it. The fact that they are both completely destroyed by one person is so cruel. You're the asshole. Fix it. Just do it. Don't wait another day for this hot mess to come around. Send him screenshots. Please send him screenshots. Also, I am so sorry this is happening to your friend. I called him, and it was heartbreaking to hear that he was clearly crying and upset. This guy is literally the nicest dude ever, and I was really happy when my friend and him got together. I showed him this post, and he's rightfully clearing his head. He is so in love with her, the first thing he wanted to do was call her and apologize. But I told him not to, and to wait for the video call that OP is going to hold. It wasn't his fault for the way he reacted, and I hope OP realizes his actions were justified and he did absolutely nothing wrong. I hope so as well. I hope they'll be okay as a couple and only come out closer for this horrific evening they've just had to endure. You're the asshole. You inserted yourself into a situation and ruined her relationship, and then refused to fix the mess that you made. I hope this is a joke and that you're trolling, because I find it hard to believe an adult woman would be this ignorant. Stop projecting your own issues onto your daughter. You absolutely did the wrong thing. Also, it's easy to have multiple usernames on Discord. That's like a huge point of the platform. You literally could have Googled this, but instead, you chose to be cruel to your own child. Good job. And now back up to the post, there is an edit. With the fast replies of telling me I'm the asshole, I'm attempting to fix it. Thank you for your replies and snapping me into reality where I've betrayed my own daughter in the worst way possible. Thank you. I'll leave a proper update later on when time passes if you are all interested later. Again, thank you. And now on to the update. I made an Am I the Asshole post, and I realized I screwed up. I royally screwed up. My daughter was still completely distraught and her best friend reached out to me. I legitimately cried when I realized I had betrayed my daughter. I sat down with her. She was more disappointed and sad than mad at me, which honestly made it harder to look her in the eyes. I was wrong. I admitted full fault and told her I would clear the air and do anything to get her to forgive me again. She stopped crying shortly after I told her that I'd try to fix it. I messaged her boyfriend and asked if he was okay to video call both of us so I can clear things up. He was at work, so the video call will happen later tonight. I told my daughter that I'm gonna look for therapy and suggested family therapy if she was up for it. She told me she would go if I got individual therapy first. I deeply apologized to her over and over, with both of us crying. I realized that because it has only been us two, I had an unhealthy attachment to my daughter. Her father did cheat on me, but he passed away shortly after I figured out I was pregnant. I was distraught, and as a single mother, put ideas into my daughter that would later on be damaging to her mental health without me knowing. I'm not making excuses, but I did have cheating-related trauma to the people who did assume correctly. My daughter had informed me that she would never cheat, and she's not going to cut me off. I offered, since she is 18 now, that I could co-sign off on an apartment if she wanted for a while, or if she wanted to go to her relatives to get away from me, I would let her. She declined on all the offers, and told me all she wanted was me to fix a relationship that I had broken. I hope the video call goes well. Update 2. I find this heartbreaking that I've inflicted a delusion in my own daughter's head that no matter what I do, I would never hurt her. I did hurt her. She's not angry at me or disappointed at all, she's just happy that I believe her and I'm willing to fix things. This almost brought me to tears. I need her to understand that what I did was hurt her. I want her to understand that she can't be treated like this, not even by her own mother. Is there any suggestions? To essentially tell her what I did to her was completely horrible and that I'm capable like anyone else of hurting her. I'm devastated that in some way, no matter what I do, she won't ever see it as hurting her. How do I undo this? Or should I leave it alone? Update 3. I set up a video call with her boyfriend on the laptop. Me and my daughter were sitting across from each other, and upon answering, I see this poor boy's face with his eyes puffy and swollen, as if he's been crying for a while. My stomach turned, and I felt like throwing up when the first words from him were, "Where is blank?" And I turned the screen to show him my daughter, in which he burst out into tears apologizing to her. I felt like vomiting, not because I was spiteful or anything, but that I clearly put these two through so much unnecessary stress. I explained everything, I showed him the post I made, I told him the username that I saw. I told him everything and admitted I was wrong. I didn't want pity. I screwed up. I got through everything, and both of them let me get through the whole thing. I didn't try to excuse my actions because there is no excuse great enough to even cover anything I did. Honestly, the fact they sat there without interrupting me shows me both of them are so mature, and I am truly thankful. The boyfriend apologized to my daughter again before talking to me. I sat there without interrupting him. I feel horrible that even though I put them through this, he still remained respectful. Here are some points he brought up. He told me that he's thankful I came clean in the end, but told me rightfully so that I was so messed up that I didn't come clean sooner, and that doubling down made the whole situation worse. He brought up that the reason I had his phone number in the first place was so I could text him emergencies, like if my daughter got into an accident or if something terrible had happened to her, and that I will only use it for that from now on. Anything in their relationship is for them to settle, and I will not interfere any further. He reminded me that he's not going to tell my daughter what sort of relationship she should have with me, and that is for her to figure out. He told me that he forgives me for making this mistake, but if I ever do anything to this extent again, that he will never forgive me again. He said that therapy is something I needed, and to reflect on this. And he told me that he wouldn't blindly trust me anymore, so I shouldn't be surprised if he second-guessed me. He then told me something that made me choke up. You raised a daughter, teaching her that infidelity was bad. She trusted you with everything, even her phone is unlocked to you. Why do you think so little of her to lie like this? I trusted you because you were her mother. There would be no reason for her own mother to lie about something like that. I have seen various comments like this throughout the day, but this one hit especially hard because when he said it, I looked at my daughter and her face looked so betrayed, I almost started crying again. I didn't. This wasn't a time to feel sorry for myself. My daughter said she didn't have a lot of words to say to me, which is fair. It was awkward after a while. The tension felt tight and the air felt dense. Her points were, she didn't feel like she could trust me as much anymore. She doesn't hate me in any way, just more disappointed in me. She told me she was changing her passcode. She told me things would be awkward for a while, but assured me that we'll get through this. She's not going to cut contact with me. She's going to take some time before actually forgiving me fully, and she doesn't want money from me, as she feels like that's a way that I'm trying to compensate my behavior. I agree because they were all fair points. I sat there for a while until her boyfriend broke the silence and excused himself, ending the call. My daughter soon followed shortly after, telling me that she has to discuss with him of their relationship privately. Before leaving the kitchen, she softly let out a "thank you" and I hope things get better. I'm now sitting here with a lot of things on my mind and emotions. I feel really grateful that my daughter is so much more mature than me because she and her boyfriend never once raised their voice at me. They handled everything so calmly and respectfully. I'm thankful for all the comments that gave me advice to fix this. And now in the comments, glad you're taking ownership of your issues. I truly hope that you get therapy and figure out your pain points so you can have a relationship with your daughter moving forward. No 18-year-old should be their mum's best friend. You're an adult and need to keep your drama separate from your daughter. Good luck, and I hope it works out for everyone involved. And OP replies, I agree. Best friend was a title that wasn't meant for my daughter. She is my daughter, not a friend. And as her parent, I failed her gravely by hurting her the worst way possible. Well, the good news is that you can learn from this and move towards a better and healthier relationship. Good for you in realizing this and working to make it better. Just use caution to not make her responsible for making you feel better. Let her know that being angry is okay and you can take it. Sometimes kids in these close relationships feel like they have to put aside their feelings to make it better for the parents. Good luck. Understanding there is an issue is the first step to fixing it. Kudos to you for being willing to work through your issues and to fix your mistake. But things like this, if she wanted to go to her relatives to get away from me, I would let her, also have to stop. It reeks of a poor me pity party. My mother was a control freak when I was growing up and pulled that kind of crap a lot. She's in her 60s and still does it, in fact. Every time she was an asshole, it would inevitably end up with her being more upset than the person she had hurt, bawling her eyes out, and being all dramatic, making comments like, "If you want to leave, I understand," or, "If you don't love me anymore, I wouldn't blame you." The end result is that I, the victim, ended up having to repeatedly comfort her, the asshole. Ultimately, she never really had to take responsibility for her shit behavior, and is a real treat to deal with as a senior citizen, let me tell you. I wish she had been forced into therapy decades ago. Please, please, Put really honest effort into healing your wounds, or you'll end up a bitter old lady like my mum, who is resented by her adult daughter, like me, because there was never an opportunity to resolve any conflict or hurt feelings. And OP replies, "Thank you for bringing that up. I only suggested it as not a pity party, but because my daughter is very close to my niece. I suggested she take some time apart from me so she can clear her head and actually realize what she wants. I'm starting to see that a lot of the times she does things to make me feel better. I don't want that I want to grow from this. I feel as if she's too close to me right now to make an actual decision right now. She seems happy with me, but I know if she takes a step back from me, she'll realize what I did to her is horrible. I want her to realize this and stand up for herself in the future. I'm going to work on myself and take steps making sure I won't do this again, but ideally hope if I do something like this again, she can express herself fully and tell me off." Damn. Reading these Reddit posts honestly just makes me realize how much my mom truly loves me. She would never ever do what you did. Glad you realized how much you screwed up, but it's extremely alarming that you even had this F-up in the first place. Crazy that you would even do that to your daughter. I hope you think about your actions long and hard toward her in the future. And this is how trauma is passed on from parent to child. Yeah, even when reading the first post, I was all, WTF? How did this woman come to the conclusion that it's appropriate to talk to her child, apparently at length, and from a young age, about how cheating is bad? I mean, obviously cheating is bad, but how do you, as a parent, get into such a messed up headspace that is the one of your greatest worries about your child growing up? Not, I hope I raised them with all the tools to make them a happy, well-adjusted adult, but I hope I raised them to never hurt a person the way that I was hurt by her father. That is so messed up, and her thinking so badly about her own daughter has probably messed up that young woman more than she realizes now. So much this. I am one of the people who was quick to tell my mum that she had screwed up, she needed to fix it, and she needed therapy. I've been cheated on. It broke my heart and destroyed my world. I have scars. I did not inflict those scars on my sons. Our next post is titled, "Husband surprised me with a divorce, cleaned out bank accounts, and shut off credit cards. How can I find an attorney with no money?" Tonight, when my husband got home from work, he informed me he wants a divorce and will be leaving until it's done. This is not a huge surprise, honestly. Ever since our daughter was born, we've just not been getting along. What is a surprise is its suddenness. I've been a stay-at-home mum since our daughter was born 2 years ago. It just didn't make sense to work and spend 90% of what I made on daycare. So when talking to him before he was finished packing, he told me, "Good luck with the mortgage and bills. I've taken my money out of our bank account and turned off your card on my credit." I would say I was shocked, but I really am not. He is very mean when he's angry and never has seemed to connect with his daughter. He wanted a boy, and from the day we got the word that we were having a daughter, he's been distant. I obviously need an attorney. I logged into our bank account, and sure enough, it's at $5. What resources can I begin looking into to get an attorney for free to help at least make him pay the bills and food until I can find childcare and a job? Is there anything I can do myself with the courts that is semi-quick to at least have him pay for the necessities since he cleaned out our joint account, or at least money for an attorney? I understand it's all his money, but we are married with a child. I don't see how he can just leave us with nothing all of a sudden. I'm in Wisconsin. I've tried to Google up the best I could since the little one went to sleep, but I can't find what I'm looking for, or even really know what I'm looking for. Thanks for anyone who helps. And now in the comments, contact your local or state bar association. You're not the first person to have this sort of thing happen, and they will have resources to help you get legal representation and also help with other financial matters. Also, if you have bills coming due, would be worth talking to creditors to let them know what's going on. If your husband is on those bills too, his credit will also take a hit from him not paying. Within that framework, it would be in his best interests not to leave you high and dry. And OP says, "Thanks. Someone else suggested that and I found their website. Most of the bills are in my name. He's on some like the mortgage." You will retain a lawyer who will file for temporary support orders, which will include mortgage, bills, living expenses, and your attorney fees. OP asks, how long will that take usually? I'm about 99% certain he is driving out of state also. I'm not sure if that complicates too much. I think he may have quit his job also because on his Facebook, there are a lot of people saying they'll miss him. So he drained the accounts, abruptly quit his job and walked out? Is he mentally sound? And OP says, he's not crazy or anything, just not friendly for years. He wanted a son. And now on to the update. I wasn't able to get much done over the weekend except sell the wedding ring for some food and diaper money. Today, however, was really busy. I spoke to a few people I was able to get in contact with through legal aid. I'm told by the end of the week, I should be with an attorney who can begin helping me file everything I need to begin doing and hopefully begin tracking down where he's put all of the money and get some back, so I can continue to survive until I can be approved for childcare through state benefits and begin working again. I'm really surprised about how often this happens. There are entire places dedicated to helping men and women who have their wives and husbands do this to them. I am filing for divorce before he can, hopefully, and for the return of the money into our account, and in order to continue assisting with bills, child support, and other necessities such as diapers, mortgage, etc. I probably will not have another update to this for a good long time, but so many people wanted to make sure I was going to be okay, and with everyone's advice to contact legal aid, etc., it looks like it hopefully might get better soon. I also contacted the bank about other bills that are coming up that I won't make, and I explained the situation. They are somewhat understanding, and hopefully I'll be back at work soon to keep current. Thanks for everyone's help and advice. And update number 2. I did all the lawyer stuff they needed, providing things like bank statements to prove the money situation and everything, and we did the filing with the court. Turns out he did quit his job, and before he left, he tried to make things worse by removing his card from the bills that he could, and had the cell phone bill go to a paper bill instead of paperless. And he tried a few other things, but when they wouldn't let him, it now makes sense why he cancelled his credit card and mine. The bill still comes, but since those were in his name, I guess I don't need to worry about that just yet. Now the bad news. Sadly, since they don't know where he is, nothing really changes at all, and now I have to wait and see what happens. There is another date over a month away to start the divorce, but apparently that's going to become an issue too, since he needs to be found, or we wait longer again from what I was told. One final fun thing that I'm pretty certain he did, but they won't tell me is, I had 2 CPS people show up and inform me of allegations that I cannot take care of my child, / provide diapers or food, etc. Once I explained it all to them and showed them what I had from my lawyer, they seemed to just let it be. I guess partners trying to use them as a way to harass the other isn't anything new to them, except they will still be checking in apparently, just to make sure. And now to the third and final update. So it's been an extremely rough couple of months, and seems to only keep getting worse, honestly. And I'm sad to say there is no happy ending here. I didn't even want to do an update, but so many people seem to be interested in the original and update. So where to start? Still haven't found him, and the legal help I have is really great, but they are also very overworked, and the resources needed to track him down just take time to get, and more time to find him. As a final parting gift, it seems he claimed our child on his taxes from last year so he could get that tax credit. I was hoping we could track him down that way, but again, sometimes that takes time and resources. Which technically, since he was the one working and did live with us for over 6 months of the year, he is technically entitled to in a legal sense. The bank was somewhat kind of understanding during the holidays, but the calls are getting to the point where I'm fairly certain they will begin foreclosure soonish. I really don't know that for certain, but when you don't pay a mortgage for 4+ months, they get kind of upset and the circumstances don't matter. Finally managed to get on Snap for food, and it helps a lot, but it's crazy how quickly you realize how much food you eat and your kid eats, and before when money didn't really matter for necessities like food, soap, water bills, and electricity. I managed to get a job that somewhat works for childcare hours, but you quickly start to realize childcare costs as much as you make, so it's like working so you can pay to have your kid watched. Trying to avoid paying all the bills attached to the house so I can save up enough to hopefully get us the smallest, cheapest apartment around and keep working. Sorry for the negative update everyone, but it's just life I guess. Unless things extremely and drastically change for the better, this will be the last update. I'll keep doing my best of course, and thanks for all the words in the other posts about the other updates. And now in the comments, people who do this kind of thing are the lowest kind of scum. To deprive your child of necessary items just to spite your spouse, and it's going to hurt him too if she loses the house, because I'm sure he's on the loan. Just so stupid. I feel like he was also trying to spite the baby because she was born the wrong sex. What a garbage man. I bet he tries to come waltzing back into his daughter's life in another 5 to 10 years and will expect her to love him, but he'll just be worse than a stranger, which I can relate to very much with my own biological father. Or he'll just blame it all on the mother and get mad that the kid doesn't take his side. My dad wasn't quite this bad, but he refused to pay bills until the divorce went through other than the mortgage. Didn't want to wreck his credit, I guess. And then when I was angry at him for not being around and helping with childcare while she was working and going to school at the same time, he acted like it was all her fault. Why should he take any responsibility for his kids? That's her job. The only bright spot in this will be if or when they do find him, he's gonna be screwed. This behavior is indefensible morally, but even less defensible in family court. I don't think he realizes how dim of a view the court takes of being used this way. He obviously doesn't want custody, but they're gonna give her child support and likely spousal support, and he can't hide forever. Unless he's willing to change his name and social security number, they'll find him, and they might find him even if he changes everything. As if taking all the money and leaving her and her daughter without enough food was bad enough, he called CPS on her over an issue that was 100% caused by him. What a vile and vindictive person. If OP doesn't have a child, her ex doesn't have to pay maintenance costs. That's the only reason I can think of. Vile man. Joke's on him, because if your kid gets put into foster care in my state, you have to pay child support to the state. Anyway guys, that's where I'm going to end the episode. I do hope you enjoyed. Like the video, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.